this board has typically been very supportive of saying don't overtest, but at the same time, which law do we violate?
Well, in that 9-week exam, that's going to be at the very, very end of the year in the subjects. At the middle school level, it used to be weighted 10%.
Well, actually, we really don't.
So are we done with that?
We don't have final exams.
Well, we're not calling them final exams.
Now, if we're talking about end of term tests to be able to determine.
Teacher-driven, teacher-developed test in May at the end of their course.
Yes, they will still be in place because, again, they dictate that portion of that evaluation.
And so with that, it's the teacher developing that test.
Yes, ma'am.
It's supposed to only encompass what was taught and required to master within that 9 weeks. No.
No, that's where we differ, and that's where I guess we need to talk about terminology.
Okay.
End of course exams are the state assessments that are required for biology, that's what you're talking about?
Well, no, I'm looking at what the teacher's developing. I know, okay, looking at biology. So you've got the EOC on biology. That's done. So then you've got a few weeks left here at the end of the course.
Right.
So at the very, very end of the course, the day that we label on our calendar, it used to be final exam day.
Yes, early dismissals, yes.
So early dismissal days were always designated as final exam day for those courses, all courses, whether you're teaching PIRE or whether you're teaching a language.
Yes.
All courses have that final exam day.
Yes.
That's a test developed by the teacher.
Yes.
And we used to have it at the high school level where it was weighted at 20%.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Middle school weighted at 10%.
That's correct. Those are still in place.
So are those still in?
Yes, ma'am.
20% of the 9 week.
Right, 20% of the 9 week,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right.
But
so we're still.
But you do have a difference now. We still have now end of term exams, particularly at the middle school level,
Yes.
that are weighted at 20% of the end at the end.
Actually, no.
They're not weighted at 20%.
They are not. We
Okay.
talked about this with principals pretty much halfway through the year when we started talking about end of terms, and we basically said 5%, no more than 5%,
Okay.
as part of the 9 weeks.
So they're weighted at 5%.
For
Those
students.
are developed by teachers,
Yes.
not the teacher necessarily of the course, but by district teachers.
We've had a representative from each of the schools.
And they are a type of district end of term
Yes.
that is then used as data to meet the teacher evaluation.
Yes, sir.
And we do that at the middle school level because, again, we're mandated to tie the teacher evaluation to that data. And that's an end of
The whole
term.
district takes the same test?
I'm sorry?
The whole district?
Oh, at that grade level.
Like everybody,
And I think
math in the 8th grade takes the same test?
Not the math, because again, that is state.
But you're close, just not the math.
FSA. Yeah, you just picked the example.
FSA.
If you were to basically say Art 1, there would be a consistent test, yes.
Countywide?
Yes, ma'am. That's what we've been working on.
Okay.
Any
For all of
subject that is
these-
not FSA tested
Yes, ma'am.
has a teacher developed with the core team from the district level that have developed a countywide test that's administered at the middle school level that will not be valued any greater than 3%.
5%.
Okay, so
student's
I heard the conversation that you had with the administrators, 3%, no greater than 3%. Where'd that come from?
I don't think I said 3%. The conversation that I basically had with the principals at the high school level is for those courses such as biology. See, we're talking about two different things.
The district design test is weighted at what percent? The district design test for non-FSA
Art.
At the middle school level,
Middle school
it's
level.
5%,
Okay.
no more of a student's grade for the last 9
and
weeks of the
then
course.
up at the high school level, the non-FSA district developed.
We don't have those all finished as of right now. At
the only grade level is middle
we
school
will
that we have
start
end
with
of
the
term
middle school at the
exams.
beginning of this year to basically tie that to the teacher evaluation. Yes, that's
5%.
correct.
We're at 5%. So the 10% at the middle school level is non-existent anymore. It's 5%.
Say that one more time.
We don't have a test that's developed that is weighted at 10% anymore at the middle school level.
Not district directed,
Not
that's
district
correct.
directed. So district directed tests are 5% at middle school. Teacher developed tests are still weighted by board policy at 10%.
No, that's up to the teacher.
That's up
So
to the
it's teacher, it used to be that we had it was mandated by the county at 10% at the middle school.
At the middle school, we really, Ms. Balfour, have not done final exams prior to this year, again, because of the
Right.
teacher evaluation. We really have gotten away from middle school final exams. That's really, because of the teacher evaluation, we've kind of brought those back on to basically call them end-of-term tests. But we basically sat down and said, okay, we want some ownership on the student's part. And so this way, in talking through the principals, we said this would be a test that a teacher would actually give for a non-FSA or non-NGSSS test that would actually count no more than 5% of that child's final quarter grade.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, it is very
No,
confusing.
I appreciate
There's a
it.
lot
I
of
appreciate
initiatives
hearing
that have
about
actually
the
taken over the
5%.
last
That's
5
great.
years.
Mark, the 5%, is that in our student progression plan?
It is not.
It is
No.
just an understanding, so
Yes.
that's not a policy, and I think we need to be
That's
careful to
correct.
say it's not a policy.
It is something that we talked about, sorry.
I just want to make sure that we didn't, because we
have.
have not put that. And then the other thing too is, and I'm not holding you to this, but just in general, because there's been some misunderstanding of what other districts have suspended versus what we have or have not suspended. And I've tried to express that we didn't implement all of these end-of-term exams as some of these other districts like Pasco and others that have suspended them. So we didn't have to suspend them because at the high school level we hadn't even implemented them yet. But at the middle school level we did implement them. Is the primary reason, if not the only reason this year we have implemented them, is due to the mandate of tying teachers'
Yes.
evaluation?
Yes.
So if it was not for that mandate, would we have likely had end-of-term exams this year?
We would not have.
Yeah.
At the middle school level.
At the middle school level, yes. And that's what I wanted to make sure. And I kind of knew the answer, but I just wanted to make sure to, because I think there's a misunderstanding. We would not be testing this if it were not for the mandate the state has done. And we're only doing that because of the teacher merit pay system.
So they can do away with the test, but then there's still going to be a burden on us to have some sort of data source for that.
Exactly. So when they say they've given us local control to not have the exam, it's absolutely a misrepresentation, because that's when I say, so which law do we violate? Do we violate the teacher evaluation tied to pay, or do we violate the fact that we, just have the test? We don't give the test.
And part of the confusion probably is also that the bill actually includes no more than 5% of that assessments being done. It just happens to be that that's the 5% that we chose from the middle school calculation of a student's grade. So I could see why there's a lot of confusion out there.
No, it's crazy.
We're trying to make sense of it and actually try to guide those principals in order to be able to work through this year and then as we start to enter into next year. But yes, a lot of this is basically reverts back to 5 years ago when we did the Race to the Top, isn't it? When we started out with a lot of these initiatives.
I'm sitting here thinking when you retire, you're going to have to be deprogrammed.
Well, by that time, probably everything's going to be corrected anyway, because that's all they've been doing is legislation to correct a lot of things that they've already put in place.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I want to, before we adjourn, share some things and then give the board members an opportunity as well. The HB 695, and I had, it's funny, I'd seen it on Friday, but Ms. Verderame, thank you very much, re-brought it to my attention yesterday because I'd had a few other things on my mind that we were working on. HB 695 has to do with the Value Adjustment Board, and if you've been reading some of Ruth's information, it passed yesterday in the House. It removes the school board elected member from the Value Adjustment Board and replaces it with a governor appointed member. So now the local levied taxes will now have a state governor-appointed representative to then make determinations. It has not cleared the Senate at this time, but unfortunately there's still time they could work it out at the Senate as well. It is absolutely flabbergasting to me that, again, they are removing local control anywhere and everywhere they can. I believe it also affects the commission, but I don't know that to be fact. I want to lift out to you as well, I as a board member am going to individually send a letter to the governor asking him to use his executive power to suspend the grades to be used punitively this year against our students, teachers, and our schools. I am tired of us being manipulated and our students and our data. I have said over and over that I reject this idea of teacher merit pay. And now it is being used to say at the legislative level, oh, we're not for over-testing our students as long as you can still tie it to teachers' pay. So if any of you are willing to, or as a board you're willing to unanimously want to join in signing a letter, I'd be happy to have one at our next meeting. If not, I am absolutely on my own going to be sending a letter. So you just need to let me know if you want to be.
I think the power of the individual voices with so many, instead of one letter with 5 names, I like the idea of the individual voices. So we can do one with all of us signing, and then those of us that want to reach out individually should go for it outside of the boundaries of the one. So
Doug, are you interested in being part of a single voice too, or?
I would be interested. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
And I'll bring the letter for everyone to review and see that. If there's any specific things that sentences, colorful metaphors we can modify, that we send them to Ms. Verderami, and she'll edit them so that they have more letters to it. That's really what I had to say. And Mr. Mullen, did you have anything as I go down the line?
Just to recap the technology, Dr. Geddes will be convening with his technology group. We do look at the devices. Sometimes, we have to look at the training is one of the factors too. And sometimes people revert back to something they're comfortable with, and I myself am comfortable with the jump drive sometimes, so I know that's not the latest and greatest thing. So it's sometimes a matter of just getting out of your comfort zone, and we have to provide the right training for the right devices as well. So we'll look into that as well.
In the kids, I had a student, a 7th grader actually, reach out to me with that concern, and I went to his classroom and saw his concern and watched the presentations and watched each individual, the downtime that was
I think the technology moving forward will be more advanced than going backwards and doing what we used to do.
That may have been a teacher that didn't have it.
Training. It's back to the training.
Yeah. And then the other thing is we will look into the leasing versus the purchase of the computers and see which is the most economical again, and see and bring that back to you and look at that. I think that's it for the technology, correct?
Thank you.
And buyback opportunities. We lost that buyback opportunity.
Typically, they had a asset recovery program. Yeah, we've lost the buyback because of the lease.
With that lease,
Yeah.
but even when we got rid of our old computers,
There's some value.
to
Yeah.
them. They came in and somebody will purchase those and they will clean those drives off. But then we'll have to make a determination whether or not that's more.
We still have an issue too of not understanding what our testing needs are going to be for a mobile testing lab. So some of this existing fleet may need to be looked at to see whether they, can be re-imaged and utilized in that format. So That's why I think it's a little more complex than us, wondering whether we get a buyback out of it, because it may have a greater value than the mobile testing
It
situation.
may. We'll look at all those aspects and make a.
Because of the mandates the state has put on the types of testing that we do, including end of term exams are supposed to be digitalized.
But you're not saying that like a testing lab on bus that goes.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean in the schools where they can, like for example, right now they've needed testing.
Yeah, all right, got that.
Like Citrus Springs Middle School took their media center and made it into a testing lab so that they didn't have to have as much downtime where they could test more students at one time.
But there's a lot of things that need to be worked out at levels way beyond ours for all that, for us to know exactly what we should be doing.
Yeah.
We should be going. So there's still issues with states working out.
Just slightly.
Well, you scared me. I thought we had.
I know, that's funny, now that you say that.
And like Mike said, we had a much more successful couple of weeks than some districts did. And we still had,
I'm glad we're not Miami-Dade.
we still were butting our heads up against the wall a few times.
Mr. Dodd.
Yes, I had a parent talk to me about some graduation requirements for their daughter, and so I just passed that information on to Mr. Hilgert, and he invited me to come in and meet with him and a guidance counselor, which I thought was very productive, so I could see exactly how they are following through with their senior students to make sure they're in line to graduate. We know that there had been an issue in the past, and wanted to make sure that as a new school board member that continues to be a high priority. I know it is, but it was good for me to go in and get to see how they track the students and how they follow up with making sure they're meeting their credits and the process they have. So, but on that, I also just wanted to ask the board the expectation for us at the graduations themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically, we're just there to go.
No, but it's a great question, because we just think of it as always. So what we will do is there's two. First is senior night. Typically, as a board, each of us all go to senior night, and we sit on stage with that, and we participate in that way of support. And then at the graduation, there's places again for us, so that we do sit on stage, with the exception of Lecanto, because they're dirt farmers. And they don't like... No, because the way they have it, they set it up. We're off to the side there, but we have a kind of assigned seating for the board, and so we are a part of that. And so we'll usually that week, as we get a little closer to it, kind of between Ms. Verderami and in our board meeting, kind of go over of the bus will be here. We usually have a group that drives from here over to Crystal River, and we'll make sure that you're included on that. But yeah, the expectation is that we have all attended that. That's very unique, by the way, in Florida. Certainly less so in smaller counties, but we have 3 to 4 graduations, because we also have, we have 5, because you get WTI and you also have Crest. And it's not unusual that you'd have 12 in just one of our districts if we were in a larger, like Orange County. And so they don't even go to them. So for us to all be there and support that, it's a neat deal.
Yeah, it's up on the Lecanto one. As a board member, you want to meet in the gym. I didn't get that memo, and I was sitting out in the field thinking, well, am I the only one here? Yeah.
Actually, we meet in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the plan
And
there?
then,
Okay, well, I didn't
that's
get
always
it.
been the plan.
Oh, I didn't
Meet
get
in
the
the
plan.
cafeteria, we
Okay.
walk.
We walk through to the gym.
And then we walk.
Well, thanks for the heads up this year. I appreciate it.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Sunglasses.
Okay.
There's usually the sun is coming down on that.
And watch the hats. When they throw their hats in the air at Lecanto,
It'll be
sometimes they
fun.
come very close.
It's a lot of fun.
And the cannon in Crystal River at the end. I mean,
Yeah.
I jump every time I hear that one too.
Graduations are a lot of fun.
And the graduations are the reason we're here.
Mhm, good point.
That's right.
And over the years, you start finding yourself going, he came before us, and that's the one that we did. Remember him? And it's a good thing, because they have come together. So Anything else, Mr. Don? Miss Ginger.
I just love math field day.
Oh, Miss Ginger, 14 years. 14 years of going there. She didn't just attend, she participates in, well, not in the van, but in helping, grading, running, and doing all that stuff.
And
You
I'm
were
a language
awesome.
arts person.
I know, but you're awesome.
At any rate, I love math field day. To see all of those children there so early competing in math. Oh, incredible, incredible kids and incredible program. I think, oh, well, Rod did go visit. You heard about that, right?
$250,000 you brought us back?
$250,000 that Mr. Well, we all worked together on it. Let me see. I think that's it.
Ready? The standout for me was participating, actually watching the River Project with the Aspire team. And I just, after looking over their curriculum, talking with the health,
Isn't that awesome?
it's such a wonderful program. And seeing it through the eyes of the students and their participation, they have such a creative way of connecting with the students, and they bring up topics that I just wish I would have had the opportunity to participate in when I was a kid. You know, they turned, the boys were facing one wall and the girls were facing another wall, and they had the opportunity to ask questions. So they were asking of the opposite gender, and it was questions like, the boys, why do you girls wear so much makeup? And the girls would respond with answers without making any eye contact. And they were genuine responses. Well, because we want to hide our sins, because it builds our confidence, because it makes us feel better. And then the boys would come back with, well, we respect you more when you're yourself. And it was just the powerful conversation that came out of those moments that the kids were given to interact in a very safe zone were very powerful. And the curriculum, I'm very thankful that this board has and will continue to support that program. So that was the standout for me. Thank you.
I just have a few quick things after the list of, but I just want to mention that Ms. Balfour, Ms. Himmel, and I attended the Holocaust Remembrance situation in Beverly Hills where it was so moving and powerful, absolutely so powerful. It's the first time that I've ever found my voice to start to crack when speaking publicly, because I used to it, but seeing all that we saw and hearing all that we heard, and we were very moved, so it was an incredible situation. And I hope any of you, if you have a chance next year, go, please. I went to Hernando SAEC. Just want to comment on how dedicated Missy Brannon is to celebrating teacher appreciation. She had all these plans going, and everyone there was just buying into it and saying yes, and they're bringing the kids in to celebrate too. So, again, a very, very important, very moving situation. Went to WTI dinner where a lot of the people from the community, a lot of the companies came in who support WTI and hire the people who graduate from WTC, I should be saying now, were there, and they had a lovely, lovely dinner, plus a lot of interaction, and Kelly Tyler was talking to the people, and we had Ms. Bishop visit. So it's good program. At Crystal River High School, I want to read something. The art department with Nancy Boudreau, photography, they went down and competed for the Florida Scholastic Press Association along with WCHS News. And they had brought home 9 awards. Marcel Morella had 2 Best of the Best of All Florida awards, and 1 All Florida, and April DeSoma had 1 All Florida. Honorable mention to Savannah Boudreau, and 2 honorable mentions to Shelley Morales, and 1 excellent and 1 honorable mention. So really took home the bacon on that one from the art department. The kids are showing over at the courthouse right now through May the 1st, and then over at the high school, there's some of the art will be in the C wing. So please go over and visit. It's always wonderful to go see. Usually we run into Jimmy Hughes over there. He comes back and visits a lot. And I'll have a couple more and I'll be finished.
No, you're good. This is great.
You'll probably talk about the Golden City,
Yeah,
so I'll skip that. On Friday, the IB ceremony will be, it'll be at Black Diamond, so I want to mention that. And also on Friday at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m., the YMCA groundbreaking ceremony will occur. So we have a really busy week. It only gets worse in terms of time during the week, month of May. So a lot of great things happening. And I want to thank you for all the work that you do on technology.
Thank you, Ms.
And you
Powers.
fill me in on some things too, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Powers. We just need to schedule the May workshop for,
That's exactly.
no, just a reminder, Wednesday we have the Golden Citrus. I'm just so excited, just
5:30.
truly just, I'm sorry?
5:30.
5:30, and then we'll be starting, I think we do our reception kind of at 5:30, and 6 o'clock we'll begin there. So if you can make that, please do. It's just a great event. Thank you for everyone's support on that. And I know Miss Deutschman is going to be thrilled with it. And with that, if there's anything else in the audience, can we adjourn? Adjourn for the workshop.
First time I went to the camp, I parked out.